And wherever I go, I always put out tobacco, because tobacco is an important plant for almost all natives, pretty much all natives. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna go out and put some tobacco out here at Redding Rancheria, go pay some respects out here. So I go down, I'm looking around and all over, and it's all smoke-free casino. And the only thing they sell are these e-cigarettes, these vapors. So I'm in this existential dilemma here. I'm not going to be the first Native American to offer freaking e-cigarettes. I mean, we evolved, but you got to draw the lines. I just kind of want to tell you what I do professionally and the stuff that I do that really kind of matters to me. One of those things is Last Real Indians, and one of those things is Lakota People's Law Project. Doesn't really matter to me how we brand them anymore. It's just that this spirit to kind of liberate ourselves is expressed through the work that I try to do. Coming from where I'm from on the res, I knew that like other people would think, what the hell is this guy up to now? They're calling himself the Last Real Indian. But other people who have really maybe no interactions with Native people would think, is this guy really the Last Real Indian? You know, and it's kind of a loaded title, because what is an Indian and what makes a real Indian? You know, and those things kind of make me think. They make you think, because what is an Indian? That's a hard question to answer. That's a question that we Indians are trying to answer. Is it what you see in Dances with Wolves, what's pushed out from Hollywood? Is it what you would study in American Indian Studies at some place like this, or is it, you know, the evolving ceremonies and songs and languages that we still have, that are still being revived, you know, back home? So if you go here, this is another important place to remember, LakotaLaw.org. You can learn everything that you need to learn about ICWA. But I want to tell you real quickly about what's going on in South Dakota. In South Dakota, you have a state that is intentionally and really without a care violating ICWA. In South Dakota, we lose about 750 kids every year because, and we've lost 10,000 since, I think, the year 2001, because the state of South Dakota chooses to ignore ICWA. What's supposed to happen under ICWA is the State Department of Social Services and the cops are supposed to notify the parents and the next of kin, and the whole, in our language we call it the Tioshwe, the kinship network, and tell them that they've got, you know, they've got this kid there and you need to get the kid back, but that's not happening. So when they take a kid, they place them with a non-Indian family, and that non-Indian family gets reimbursed, and the state gets reimbursed from the federal government. I think it's like maybe $5,000 a month per child. It's not just the reimbursement for taking the kid and providing food, clothing, and shelter. It's also the Medicaid and the pharmaceuticals that are being prescribed to these kids. It's really, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that this is going on here today, because it's just like the boarding school. It has the same effect as the boarding schools. The current governor, after all the media pressure that we put on regarding these ICWA violations, he finally issued a public statement saying that he would support the transfer of the 56 to 60 million that comes from the federal government to the state in forms of reimbursements. He would support the transfer of that money to the tribes. But he only did that after we brought the hammer down. Because part of these big social change movements is you've got to do some of that. You got to hammer people in public. You can't back down. You know, you can't not fight that fight, because what are we living for if you're not willing to fight a fight? You know what I mean?